when somebody tells us something that we feel is not accurate, trying to present an argument, and it's just not, it's not right, it's not true. So we use the expression, you know what, you're imagining things. But actually, imagining things is not always negative. Imagining things is a very powerful, positive trait. An example of this is from this week's portion. Joseph, the righteous Joseph, Yosef HaTzadik, was sold into slavery. And the Torah tells us that he was the head servant in the house of Potiphar. Potiphar trusted him with everything. But Potiphar's wife cast her eyes on Joseph, and she tried to seduce him every day, day in and day out and day in. She tried all different kinds of techniques to seduce him, and the righteous Joseph resisted the temptation. But finally, one day, there was no one home, everyone left, and she, the wife of Potiphar, says, I don't feel good, I need to stay here, and she's there alone with Joseph, and she tries to seduce him once again. And there's an opinion in the Talmud that says that Joseph was about to succumb, but he saw the image of his father before his eyes and was inspired and strengthened himself from that because of that image, and he ran out of the house. Of course, the Torah tells us what happened. She held on to his garment, she framed him, he was put into prison for 10 years. But what the strength that he had was because he saw the image of his father. The Rambam Maimonides, however, explains that when a person has some kind of inclination to transgress or to do something wrong, the ideal is to correct oneself and to put oneself on the proper path just because he wants to serve God. And an example that he gives is Joseph, the righteous Joseph. Now, wait a second. We have a little bit of a conflict. In the Talmud, it says that Joseph's strength came from the fact that he saw the image of his father before his eyes. The Rambam says that Joseph was pure and Joseph was righteous, and that's why he did not succumb. The answer is the following. One of the Rosh Yeshivas, one of the heads of the Mir Yeshiva, Rabbi Aryeh Finkel, explains that Joseph imagined. Joseph, because of his fear of God and because of his desire to do what is right, he was able to create that picture, that image of his holy father Jacob in front of his eyes. And that image inspired him. That image of his father gave him the strength, gave him the inspiration to be able to resist the temptation, and he ran out. It was his power of imagination that saved him, that protected him. And his power of imagination was a tool that he used because of his desire to serve God. Rabbi Simcha Zisel of Kelm says, you know what the difference between a righteous person and an evil person is? What is the difference? Of course, we could come on, if somebody asked us that question, we would give all kinds of different answers. He gives an amazing answer. The difference between a righteous person and an evil person is the power to imagine, the power to perceive, the power to use one's creative mind and heart to be able to see the picture. Imagine. The power of imagination, when it helps us in our interactions with another person. We stop and think about, imagine what the other person is going through. Imagine the situation. Try to put ourselves in that person's shoes and create a picture in our minds. That is inspiring. Imagine that the Shulchan Aruch says, and the Shulchan Aruch says that a person should start his day and always picture Hashem before him, and realize that God is present. Now, of course, we can't see God, but we could feel God, we could sense God's presence. Imagine. Use the power of imagination. Use the power of imagination to propel us to do that which is right. Use that creative gift that each of us has within us. Imagine that. Wishing everyone a beautiful, beautiful Shabbos and a glorious, light-filled Hanukkah.